You never heard of a talking horse?
With your host, Louisa Barton.
I want to be a famous rider. I should like to race.
Presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital.
Truth is, I help horses with people problems.
Now here's the Brit on the bit, Louisa Barton! Yeah, baby! Yeah.
The Larson family has been farming hay in Idaho for generations, with a mission to always provide high-quality hay products at a fair and reasonable price. Larson Hay loves to meet new customers while always honouring the ones they already have. Find Larson Hay on the web at larsonhay.com, like them on Facebook, and definitely visit one of their locations. Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and our television broadcast sponsor. Welcome to the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital. Thank you to Larson Farms, our broadcast sponsor, Idaho's finest alfalfa. I'm Louisa Barton. I'm very excited to be back on the show for the first time this week. A couple of months ago, as most of you know, I was in an accident with a fleeing suspect, and I had a terrible impact with my truck, and thank God I'm still here. I'm very fortunate to be out of the neck brace now. In actual fact, into the soft collar, which is much preferable for me. I can finally go to bed and sleep at night. So that's a wonderful thing, as opposed to sitting up in a chair. A funny story, a lot of people who run into me say, oh, you must have a great horse story for this broken neck. And unfortunately, I don't have a great horse story. I have just a vehicle story. So, but I am recovering. I have a plate and 4 screws in my neck. When you see me do some interviews over the course of the next couple of months, you may see that the rotation of my head is not quite what it was, because I may never, I'm hoping that's not the case, but I may never have full proper rotation. But when I'm interviewing people, sometimes it's a little awkward when I have to move my whole upper body rather than just turn my head. So just be aware of that, and I am very grateful and thankful to still be here and to have the first show back here at the Showcase Properties Studio. Thank you to our sponsor, Showcase Properties, Central Florida, for supporting us, and we're very, very pleased to be in this new space, and we're going to be working on it. You probably can't see it, but there's a green screen actually over to my right that once we're up and running, we'll actually be using to air all sorts of interesting things connected to our sponsors and our guests. So, but until then, I hope you enjoy our welcome board behind me, created by Loco Graphics. Did an absolutely beautiful job on it, as well as the table in front of me wrapped with our logo. So, very fortunate and very glad to be here with you. And some other bad news, which I want to start with because I want to wrap up with good news and exciting stuff, is that this week we lost our miniature horse. We don't know why, possibly a snake bite. He was a character indeed, Mr. Minnie. He actually had a big fancy registered name that, because I never use it, Flying, Soaring, Eagles or something. But for us, he was just Mr. Minnie. Of course, I was devastated, and lots of prayers, but, for us, certainly a difficult time. But what a great little guy he was, and he thought he was a big horse, and we're devastated, and of course, we'll miss him a whole lot. So just asking for your prayers, and if you're somebody who's going through losing an animal, especially losing a horse, feel free to message me on Facebook or at the Horse Talk Show there, and I'd be happy to talk to you even if you have a comment that you want to share with us. On a brighter note, we're just a few days now away from the Kentucky Derby and, of course, the Oaks, with so many connections that I've actually got to keep this in front of me so I don't forget anybody. Of course, we love Live Oak Plantation here in the horse capital of the world, and the Weber family. Charlotte Weber, of course, bread, soup and sandwich. I love that name. I think that's fantastic. And we love to call him Ocala's Mark Cassie because he's been here for about 50 years, and trains here, has a training centre here, and supports the horse capital so well. And then he also trains at the tracks as well, with 12 Sovereign Awards, 5 Breeders' Cup wins, and also in the same year a win in the Preakness and the Belmont, but he has not won the Derby yet. He's in the Hall of Fame in Canada. He's in the Hall of Fame here in America as of last year, which we certainly believe he deserves to be in that, probably many years before. So we love those connections. And also Mark Cassey trains Helium, who's also in the Derby, and we're going to have an interview this weekend on Derby Day with Mark, talking about Helium and how really he thinks this horse might be one that's underlooked at right now. So we're certainly going to look out for those two, and we love to have the Florida bred soup and sandwich. Our dear friends at Niall Brennan Stables, who are actually some of my favourite trainers here in the horse capital of thoroughbred horses. Niall Brennan and his team are the ones at OBS that always have a little pink teddy bear hanging outside the doors for the fillies to play with, and a ball for the boys if the colts like to have a ball hanging outside the door. And Niall's great. Niall and his son Colin are a great training team. We'll also have an interview this weekend coming up with them. They have 3 grads entering the starting gates: Sainthood, Highly Motivated, and Essential Quality. All should be paid close attention to. Maybe that's your trifecta. Eddie Woods has 1, Known Agenda. Eddie Woods always has 1 in the starting gate, I think, for the Derby. And certainly Known Agenda is a horse to be reckoned with, so, and a very serious contender. So that's exciting stuff. April Mayberry. And just to mention, actually, when I mention April Mayberry, OBS had a great record-breaking sale of 74 million this past week, and the Mayberry team were there. They sold their first horse ever for 550,000, and the next day they sold their first horse ever for $1 million. And actually, April Mayberry and her team at Mayberry Farm started Rock Your World. That's a grad of the Mayberry team, and of course Rock Your World may go in as the favourite. Certainly Steve Haskin, our Hall of Fame turf writer and contributor's favourite at the moment. A great story about Medina Spirit. Bred here in Ocala by Gail Rice, so another Florida bred, trained by Bob Baffert at the track, and of course any horses trained by Bob Baffert we have to pay attention to. Medina Spirit, a real neat story. Gail was in a situation she had to sell. She sold Medina Spirit. She didn't really want to, for $1,000 as a yearling, sold us 35,000, probably the least expensive 2-year-old Bob Baffert's ever had in his barn, I'd say. And she loved this horse, very leggy horse, and actually was 3 weeks late, and she had to take some milk from another mare who was finished nursing and use it to bottle feed Medina Spirit. So a great story. And Medina Spirit actually is followed in the footsteps of Florida bred champion Silver Charm, coming second in the Santa Anita Derby and second in the San Felipe Stakes. So this is a horse like Silver Charm, is a Florida bred, like Silver Charm, trained by Bob Baffert. Also born in Ocala, and following his footsteps would be a good thing, because of course he won 2 legs of the Triple Crown. So that's a very exciting story, I think, and a good one for the Run for the Roses. So at 1 o'clock on Saturday, Derby Day, first Saturday in May, we will have a show for you at 1 o'clock, which will be on Facebook at the Horse Talk Show. It will also be on Equus TV. On Roku in 60 million homes, and the audio will also be on Sky 97.3 at 7 o'clock in the morning, and on Odyssey.com as well, so for the regular show. So it also airs on additional 8 podcasts that we know of, and maybe more. We keep finding it on more. But, you know, just to note, and Dr. Alberto Rian gave me a very good point the other day about how a lot of people don't love the thoroughbred racing world. And, you know, I've been behind the scenes at so many barns, and if God told me I could come back as a horse, I'd ask to be a thoroughbred. I've never seen any horses taken care of quite as well. The bedding, the grooming, the love, the baby organic peeled carrots. Can I go on? The life of most of these horses, and I'm not going to say all, and I'm not going to say there aren't bad people in every industry, whether it's equine related or not, but I can tell you that the majority are an amazing bunch of people, and the hard work and the love that goes into these horses is just amazing, and I'll share more with you about that. But I'm going to close up this news segment, tell you to make sure you're tuning in as we bring you live from the Kentucky Derby coming up here at the weekend, and just hope you enjoy all of our coverage, especially to the Ocala Marion County connections. And for Mr. Minnie, wherever you are, well, I imagine that he's in heaven. We miss you, buddy, and it's been a sad week, but it's going to get better. I'm Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show. We've got some amazing segments coming up with Linda Parelli and Elizabeth Pizzonia, so stay with us.
This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now, or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
Are you ready to get loco? At Loco Graphics, every dollar matters to provide your ideas brought to life. Loco Graphics strives to get your message across and impact your customers, offering logo design, vehicle wraps, business cards, banners and more. Make your business shine and showcase who you are with nothing but the highest quality materials. The difference is in the details. Impact your potential customers with Loco Graphics. Like them on Facebook now and find them on the web at locographics.com.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
I'm Louisa Barton with the Horse Talk Show here in our new studios at Showcase Properties, Central Florida, and we're very excited to be here with you. Thank you for joining us, and I love having my friend Linda Parelli here with us from Happy Horse, Happy Life. We're going to be chatting a little bit to her about a few different topics of concerns for horse owners. Linda, thank you so much for being with us.
Well, I'm very honoured to be your first guest.
Pretty cool. forgive me for not being able to completely turn my head. I'm not being rude to my guest. As many of you know, a couple of months ago, I did break my neck, and I am down from a neck brace to a collar, but a full turn is still rather difficult for me. So if I'm not looking at Linda in the eyes, that's why. First of all, I want Linda to start off by telling us a little bit about Happy Horse, Happy Life. And I know that I have a happy life because I have a horse. In actual fact, a lot of people have asked me to tell the story how I broke my neck because they think it must be on horseback. I don't have a great story to tell, just a fleeing suspect that ran into my truck and totaled my beautiful truck and wrapped and tires and all of those things. So prayers needed, but I'm sure it'll all resolve itself. So Linda, tell us first of all about your program.
Well, I've been teaching horse people, horse lovers for 30 years now. And, I'm a horse lover, and something that we all tend to want, at least people who are attracted to this, is they want a happy horse. And, some people don't care. They're just like, well, I just need my horse to do its job, and that's what it is. Well, that's not who my program is for. I mean, obviously, people are going to learn a lot about horse behavior, but the whole precept is to have a happy horse. So then you have to go, well, what is a happy horse? How do you know? Because it's a bit of a buzzword, especially in certain parts of the industry. And basically, a happy horse is one that feels safe and not threatened by you or the environment, and that it gets to find comfort, so it's not always being, made to do things. And then the third thing is that it gets to play, to interact with you. And so having this model that's based on horse behavior really gets into the horse's mind. Like, you go beyond the body to the mind. And once you get that horse's mind and its heart, it's like, oh, sky's the limit. I want a horse that's happy. I don't want him cranky. I don't want him scared. I don't want him nervous. I don't want him, wanting to be with other horses. I want him wanting to be with me. And that's what I teach.
Well, one of the sponsors of our show, and actually just joining us as a new partner, is Piranha. And of course, in the summer in Florida, I would not want to be without a bottle of Piranha. So a question to get a little audience interaction. We'd love you to comment below or message us if you'd like, or you can reach out to Linda also through her page. The question is, when do you start basic groundwork training with your foals? Now, I know my answer. I have a feeling it might be pretty close to what Linda's going to say, but I'm going to get her opinion. So about this time of year, we're seeing a lot of foals born, springtime, early summer. It's a great time to have babies here in Florida. So I know there may be people wondering if they've never had one before, well, what should I do first? So I'm going to have Linda tell us how we get a happy foal.
Yes, well, I'm a big fan of foal imprint training, and I was lucky to spend quite a bit of time with Bob Miller, and of course Pat Pirelli, did a lot with foals, still does. And so it was amazing to see how quickly they learn, and that they're this little open book. When they come out, there's the first 2 hours where that horse learns, who its mother is, and they imprint on like a shape. So some people will tell stories that, if a wheelbarrow goes past the foal in its first hour of birth, it'll run to that wheelbarrow like it's its mother. And so you can use that time to do some things for the little foal to prepare him for life with humans. Instead of going, well, we're not going to touch it, it's going to be a kind of half wild thing until we finally throw a saddle on its back. There's so much that you can do in that time. So starting with imprint training, which is just to familiarize themselves, I shouldn't say that word, familiarize yourself them with you, so that they don't see you as a threat. You actually can become kind of part of their herd in that little bit of time. But some people are not a fan of it because they think, foals tend to be a little bit rude and dominant once they've been imprinted. It's not always the truth, but there's always a balance in things, that some horses they're pushy and rude and dominant anyway, and when you imprint them, it's like, well, it's carte blanche. But other horses, like my black horse that you'll see, on a little video clip, I wish he'd been foal imprinted, because he had a lot of suspicions around people when I got him, and that can completely go away. And then you just interact with them, kind of naturally while you're tending the mare and tending the foal. You don't go into full-on training or anything. But then once they're getting to be weaned, that's when you would start to do a little bit more and teach them about, moving out of your space and coming to you and leading properly. And, there's a lot of things you can do when the foal is little.
So how soon after birth? So we're waiting for the foal, of course, to comfortably nurse, which sometimes for some takes a little bit longer than others. It just depends. I've had them try and nurse on hocks and knees before, and so you just have to be patient with that. So how much after the time the foal is comfortable with its mother, obviously knows who its mother is nursing, and how soon would you maybe, that's maybe when you would interact with the mare and not directly go to the foal, but just kind of so the foal sees that when you're with his or her mum, it's safe. So that means it's safe rather than a direct kind of all on, go up and start touching the foal, more kind of wait for him or her to come to you?
Yeah, well, a good thing to do is to teach the foal to come to you, and you can do that through the mother. I mean, if the mother is already a good example and she likes people, that helps. But sometimes you have a mare that doesn't like people, and she's going to teach the foal that. So it's really good to have your mare prepared so she becomes a good role model, for the baby. But I don't support the idea of don't touch the foal or don't do anything with them. You can react very naturally with them like you're part of the herd and move them away a little bit or scratch them on their itchy spots and things like that, because you want a really positive relationship with them. So, to me, it's like right from the get-go. But then everything in moderation. Don't go out there and spend an hour doing it. Just do little bits and leave it, And then when they're weaned is when they need the new person to attach to, right? The new friend. And that's what we can do with them is go, okay, now it's you and me.
That's right.
Yeah, and then there's lots of things that you can teach them on the ground that prepare them for life with humans. And when they're little, it's a good way to do it. A friend of mine right now has a very, very dominant young horse. He's just turned 1, but she's had him since he was 6 months old. And I'm telling you, if that horse had not been handled till he was 2 or 3, you'd be in big trouble.
Yeah, that's certainly true. The smaller they are, when you start, the better. And certainly for a weanling who is first time away from mom, it's very good for him to feel comfortable with a human who he knows is going to kind of be there with him when mom is gone. So, and often people wean foals with other foals, for comfort, and sometimes even with other mothers. But I think it's great if a person can bond as early as possible with them. And I had a Welsh pony like that who everything I did to him was so simple. First time in the trailer, first time with the saddle, he made me look so good. But it's really just because he wasn't scared of anything, and it does make a difference when you get that comfort level, I think, for the young horse. So my second question is actually right from your Facebook page. Mahatma Gandhi said, "The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. As stewards of our beautiful horses, and to be able to train with empathy, we have to start by looking at things from the horse's point of view." And I wanted you to comment on that a little bit and kind of what that means to you and why you think that's so important.
Well, there's a great divide between horses and people, and it's all over the world. And in the more developed countries, I don't know if you call them first world countries compared to third world countries, horses are usually no longer consumed for food. They're not used for farming. They're not tools and machines for us. And so really for the first time in history, they've become our sport. We have them for pleasure, for our, recreation, whether it's competition or whatever, it doesn't matter. But it's still, we don't need them for food or work, right? So now that they're our companion animals in a way, there's a very different attitude, that goes with it. Because now, like I was talking about having a happy horse, who cared about a happy horse before? It just had to be healthy and do its job. Now it's like, oh, but I want to love on it, and I want it to like me, and, I want to be able to do these great things and jump and gallop and, do dressage or whatever the things are, have a relaxing trail ride. But a lot of the time, you don't have that with the horse because the relationship isn't there. And when you want a really positive relationship with a horse, you have to look at things from the horse's point of view. What's important to that horse? What does he need? How can you fulfill those? And how can you not cross those boundaries that, like if you know horses, you go, the old thing is like, don't run around a horse, like stay quiet, stay calm. There's a lot more to it than that. How can you not offend a horse in the way that you approach it? How can you understand its energy and where it's coming from, and then very quickly bond? Like people, we have very similar energy. When we get together, it's like talk, right? But some people, have a kind of different kind of energy, and they don't talk very much. Well, if you go to that person and talk your head off, it actually creates a distance between you and them.
Speaking of that, hold that thought, because we can talk and talk and talk for sure for hours, probably all night, but we have to go and come back. But we have another segment with Linda, so stay with us on the Horse Talk Show. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Peterson & Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, and Larson Hay, our broadcast and television sponsor, plus supporting sponsors, DAC Vitamins and Minerals, Seminole Feed Stores, All In Removal, TT Distributors, and the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Louisville.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at SeminoleFeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show. Thrilled to be here at Showcase Properties. Actually, our first guest, which I love, to have Linda, a dear friend of mine, Linda Pirelli, here with us. And we've been talking happy horse, happy life. And I'm going to let her actually finish up what she was talking when we were talking, because time was up. But we want to wrap that up now. So I'm going to let Linda finish that before we start another point.
Yeah, so the main point that I was trying to make is that the more similar you are, the easier it is to have a positive relationship. You don't have to work at it so hard. But the relationship between horses and humans is often strained because we don't match their energy. We come in too strong or we come in even too soft. So learning how to match that is one of the key points of connection.
Very important. You're absolutely right. When you meet some people, you totally click and you feel very comfortable immediately. When I met you the first time, I felt that way. But you're right. The perhaps sometimes got to overcome that, if the horse doesn't interact well with that particular person for some reason, and it can be a number of things. Body language, of course, is everything. And you made a really good point about how, a lot of people just teach right away, don't run around a horse or don't go around the back of a horse and things like that. They've been taught for years and years and years. And it may be a whole different way of doing things when they start to learn, once they have a relationship of trust with the horse, it's a lot different. Yes, certainly, if you're a new person around horses and you're coming up to a horse you've never met before, absolutely. But that's different than the relationship and the bond, for sure.
Yeah, it's like you've got your safety guidelines for newbies,
Mm-hmm.
and then you want to go way past that and say, okay, how can I take this relationship to the next level? Because, we all have this dream. It's like, I want to ride off into the sunset, with my hair streaming in the wind, and, both of us are having a wonderful time. And in reality, you're often galloping into the sunset, hauling back on the reins, screaming, whoa, So how can we change that and make it the most positive thing, no matter what you want to do with your horse? That the relationship is the thing that, you really want to learn about. And by understanding horse behavior, that's where it comes up. So, you mentioned my thing around relaxation and responsiveness. There's 3 cornerstones that I really try to touch. One is connection, which comes through empathy and being able to relate to the horse and have it connect to you and you to it. The second one is relaxation, because the opposite is tension and nervousness and horses fighting and arguing with you. And then the third one is responsiveness. And that means, if I ask the horse to do something with me, that the horse goes, I'd love to, instead of, oh, not you again, or I don't want to do it. And there's an art to that, everybody can make a horse do something, but can you get a horse to want to do it? And so, there's some video of my horse Jazz, and he's a lovely Oldenburg, and he's now 14, but I've had him since he was 6 months old. And he came to my barn when he was almost 4. And, so we had to build this relationship, and he is the opposite of me. He's very introverted, doesn't want to use any energy, and I'm the opposite of that, right? So it took a lot for me to crawl out of my skin and into his skin and go, how can I slow everything down? Because he always had a very negative and tense look on his face, and that became my primary goal, was to go, how can I get this horse to connect with me, to be relaxed and to be responsive? And then there's some more things after that you can perform with, but you can see it in this video that, we're out in a big field, there's no other horses around, he's totally connected to me, he's light, he's soft, he's willing, and he's positive. And so, to me, that's the ultimate. I don't want to just ride horses. I want a happy horse. I want that dream,
Absolutely. And I think most horse owners, as you said now, especially as horses are, either trail riding, showing, whatever it is you're doing with your horse, most people now want that happy horse. And speaking of that, I'm actually going to throw Linda under the bus with this question because I haven't prepped her for it, but I know she's up to it. And that is, I actually have a question about my Mustang. So he's almost 3. He was out of the herd. He was always trying to be a little bullyish, and be the lead man, but not terrible. Nothing I couldn't manage to, correct. He went away for a month because I was actually going to start riding him, and Haley Price, who trains Mustangs, didn't want me doing it on my own at home. So he went down there for a month so I could actually get on him with her there, and she could, having done it many times with many Mustangs, she knows a lot about their behavior, which is actually a little different than some other horses I've worked with, especially straight from the wild. So when he came back home, he actually became a huge bully, and I had to separate him from the geriatrics who used to be his friends. So now he walks the fence line because he wants to be with his friends, but as soon as he gets with his friends, he wants to bite my 35-year-old precious baby, love of my life, in the bottom. So I had to separate them, but I don't want to, and I'd like to reintroduce him into the herd. So that's a bit of a surprise question, but one I know you have the answer for, so I'm not concerned.
Yes, well, it's kind of a difficult question because it's very natural for horses to want to have the upper hoof. And, yeah. So they play dominance games to do that. And unfortunately, as horses get older, even if they were the leader of the herd, they can easily be taken out now, or down a peg or two, by the young upstart. I had a horse who was a lovely ex-race horse. His name was Siren, and I brought him here from Australia. And he was always number 1 in the herd. He ran everybody. And then when he got to about 23, it changed. And all of a sudden, and you have to be careful because you get all like, oh my God, my poor horse. And everybody's like running him off. And, and by this time he's a bit arthritic and whatever. But that's just the way of horses. And unfortunately, you either have to allow that to happen and have an area that's big enough, where they can get away, or you need to separate them. Because when they're old, it's, and especially if he's only got those other 2 to boss around, they're going to get bossed. If there was 25 horses in the herd, he'd probably be busy with other horses that were threatening him, Yes. So unfortunately, it may be that for your older horse's safety, you have to keep them separate.
And that is actually kind of my thought, because, if the other 2 were about his age or close, I might just monitor it. And they would hold their own, but seeing him run Sonny and, have Sonny doing more than he should be. Sonny tries to do more than he should already, especially when I'm riding him. But I didn't want to see, and I would see him bite his tail. But it was very strange the way going away and coming back. It was almost like he wanted to re-establish his dominance as the lead man because he was gone for a month or so. I said, my gosh, I hate to separate them, but I don't want to hurt horse, so I don't want to fight. So it's a shame. It's sad.
It is, and we're the only ones that feel that way. They're fine, right? We want them to be a happy little family. But, unfortunately, like even if you can have them behave when you're around, as soon as you're not in there, it's Lord of the Flies. They're going to organize the herd. That's just natural to them. But it's interesting because as horses get more educated, like your horse has probably come back a bit even more confident, and he's got new skills, and he's learnt more, and he's walked in like, all right, let me show you guys now. I'm even better than I was before. Yeah.
Guess what I can do now? I have a saddle, and a person can sit on me, and I'm the boss of you, and that's kind of what's been going on. So tell us what a bit more about Happy Horse, Happy Life. Kind of what is your end goal? Like if there's a bucket list for Happy Horse, Happy Life, is it exactly what it is? That's what but do you look to see that go further? And I know you've got some books and things, so kind of expand on that for us.
Yes, it's really a community thing, you know, and a collaboration. I mean, obviously the philosophy is set by me, and, you know, this is what we want to teach, and this is our, you know, it's all about compassion and empathy with horses. And then there's a curriculum that people will walk through that's still in development. But if you go to the site now, it's you get a 2-week free trial, and you can fish around. There's little minute lessons, like, you know, 3 to 5 minutes of Learn with Linda. We have
I hate to stop you mid-sentence. I have to keep doing that to her. It's terrible. We have such a good time and talking to each other, but when Gigi, she gives that, we have to go. But we'll be right back with Linda. We're going to do another segment with her and let her tell us about some of the clotheslines and cooking and books and everything, all about Linda. I love it. We'll be right back on the Horse Talk Show.
I'm Linda Pirelli, and I want to welcome you to Happy Horse, Happy Life. Come join us.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show.
You never heard of a talking horse? Well, listen to this.
With your host, Louisa Barton.
What does it feel like to be in love with a horse?
Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience.
Back in the saddle again.
Now, here's your pretty Louisa Barton.
You're fab. You're switched on. You're a bit of all right. Yes. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
The Larson family has been farming hay in Idaho for generations, with a mission to always provide high-quality hay products at a fair and reasonable price. Larson Hay loves to meet new customers while always honoring the ones they already have. Find Larson Hay on the web at larsonhay.com, like them on Facebook, and definitely visit one of their locations. Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and our television broadcast sponsor. It's time to take care of yourself as well as you do your horse. So get down to Pulse Center of Ocala. The PEMF wave is safe, and it's a therapy that charges your cells and allows them to function at their fullest capacity, so you heal much faster. Check them out at pulsecenterfl.com now and tell them you heard about it on the Horse Talk Show for a free demo.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show here at the Showcase Properties Studios. Thrilled to be here in the new studios. We begin to set it up, and we've got Linda Pirelli here from Happy Horse, Happy Life as our very first guest. And she was just talking. I had to interrupt her because we had to go to break. But we're back, so I'm going to let her finish that up.
I should speak in smaller sound bites. So it's a community that's, you know, collaborative work, and I've set the philosophy. But then there's all these things that you can visit, like lots of activities. It's kind of like an activity center. So there's little lessons with me, 3 to 5 minute tips. There's Mind, Body and Spirit, where we talk about all kinds of things that affect us as humans with horses, you know, everything from stress to how to deal with difficult situations when you're learning, how to get over performance anxiety, all those kinds of things. I've got some great guests, psychologists and horse behaviorists that are very, very accomplished, that contribute. Then there's some cooking and lifestyle things because I'm all into health and wellness. And so there's a little bit around that. And what am I missing? There's got to be something else. We have the odd event now and then. We have, courses. I do like keynote courses or PowerPoint courses. And so there's one that comes up every month. And we do a Zoom 2 weeks later of a conference to discuss it. And then halfway through the month, there's a personal growth segment. And then 2 weeks later, there's I've got one this Friday actually to discuss that. So it's a very full concept, there's lots of things going on there. Great community, people are so supportive, they're all there to learn and be better and to have a happy horse, and everything is centered around that.
So exciting.
I know. It's like, I don't know how I'm getting it all done, but we've got a great team, so.
I was gonna say, I bet you have an amazing team, don't you? Plus the dogs, of course, which, they have to be part of it. So what is the most, what horse would you say is the most difficult horse you've ever had to deal with in your career? And what was the horse behavior that you had to deal with, and kind of how did you handle it? Like the most challenging.
Well, there's two that fit into that category. One is that black horse of mine, Jazz, because he was so introverted and didn't want to do anything. And I've got dreams of Grand Prix with him, in dressage, and he's got to be like a tiger. And he's like, I just don't want anybody to look at me. So that has been a very challenging time for me to learn how to train him, because you can't just make him do things. He'd do them, but he'd be tense and his ears would be back, and I want the opposite. So quite honestly, that's been the most challenging horse for me to train. Then I have another horse that's very athletic. His name is Highland, and he can jump everything. I put him in 6-foot panels because
he's the one that jumps out. Yeah.
I can't keep him in any of my paddocks. He just goes where he wants. So he's very talented. But he was also quite damaged and very suspicious of people and very athletic. And so, I say, well, I can probably deal with any one of those things, but to have all three in the one package is very humbling, So I could have had other people ride him, but I didn't want that. I wanted that to be my journey, because whatever I go through, I'm a better teacher of. So he's been challenging just to get him to zero, from negative whatever it was. And now I'd say that he's probably at, 6 out of 10 now, where he was -6 out of 10. Wow. And so we've come a long way, but then all of a sudden he just went, I get it. I'm going to do this with you. And now we're just making massive progress.
That's incredible. Now the two books. Tell me the names of the two books and kind of just a little rundown of what each one is and why they're important.
Yeah, I have a mentor program, and they're collaborating with me on producing manuals that, people can have on their coffee table in the barn that gives you ideas. The first one that we brought out is called 52 Challenges for You and Your Horse, and that's with Courtney Crane, who's one of my top instructors. And it gives you ideas, because a lot of people get stuck in a rut. They're just like, I don't know what to do with my horse, so I do the same thing over and over, and horses are like bored, and it's not like, your skills don't get any better. So you can just open this somewhere and go, oh, that would be a fun thing to try. And there's actually groups who are taking one a week.
I was going to say 52, one a week.
Wonder why there's 52. So that's kind of put a little spark into their time with their horses. And then the other one that has just come out now is called 101 Tips for You and Your Horse. And it covers a wide range of things, from camping in the mountains to being a better rider, and everything in between. Some things with jumping and competition, but it's just this great collection of tips that even if you don't, like me, I never want to go camping in the mountains with my horse. I have done. But if you don't, then even reading that, even if you don't do it, you'll get some great ideas, to help you be better with your horse. Anyway, so we've got the online community, and then we've also got these manuals that come out once a quarter.
That's absolutely phenomenal. Now, how do people get those books? I would like one, by the way.
Well, I meant to bring you one and I forgot. But I will definitely bring you one. But if you go to happyhorsehappylife.com, then that's the activity center there. You'll see everything that we have for offer. There's also the Happy Horse Happy Life Facebook page, and that will show you how to get that manual if you're not already a member. And remember, there's a 2-week trial, so you can come and join us and see what it's like, kind of fish around and see what's going on in there.
That's wonderful, and give it a shot. And then the amazing clothes I see you wearing on that Facebook page.
I know. I should have worn one of those, but we've got some beautifully designed shirts that have, wraparound horses on them. So Got lots
They're
of-
gorgeous.
Is that a hint too? Do you want one of those?
I would actually. So just, I wouldn't mind. Actually, I'd even wear it on air.
Done.
So any kind of final tips that you want to give to people who are struggling, especially in communicating with their horse? So in the way that you talked about that bonding and that trust and everything. So if someone's having really, really difficult time understanding how their horse's brain works, you mentioned the horse you had difficulty with, Jazz, was an introvert and you're not. That would be me with an introvert horse. You know, I wouldn't know what to do. So maybe some little tips about communication, that just little sneak peeks into what they can learn from your program.
I would say the most important one is your energy and your body language, because a lot of the time, you know, I see people who go in as themselves and they don't even notice that they're rattling the horse, or that the horse is ignoring them or not wanting to be with them. And so instead of just bribing them with treats and things, you know, the first thing you can manage is your energy, and you go, okay, you know, is my horse a high energy horse or is he a low energy horse? And then I need to find that and match it and kind of be in that same zone as the horse. And you don't have to do it for long. It's just that's how the horse is going to get more attracted to you. So that's just one little tip. I mean, this is a seminar in itself. And then the other one is, if you understand like how horses operate, they don't operate with words. They do sign language. Okay, so this is a really funny thing. So we are often not aware of how we communicate with our bodies, you know, because we're very verbal. But when you're around a horse, we tend to go yak, 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 and talk to the horse, and the horse just hears noise, right? It doesn't make any sense. And we're not clear on what we're doing with our bodies and our energy. So I talk a lot about sign language, that, you know, when people have hearing or speaking impairments, they do sign language, right? I don't know how to do it, but they do sign language, and every gesture, every movement they make means something. Like, they don't just, you know, I guess they don't even wipe their nose, you know, without understanding how they are or are not communicating. And so we need to do the same thing with horse. We can move them with our energy, with our focus, with our feel, with our touch. But we've got to understand that it's like, it's body language. It's not just shove them out the way and, you know, pull them around. So, like I said, that's a whole seminar in itself. But it's something to start thinking about.
So learn your horse's language, first of all. Figure out what kind of horse your horse is, and then you try to relate yourself to the horse, because obviously the horse isn't going to be able to change. So you're going to have to try and understand what your horse, who he is, what he likes, how he communicates, and then you'll win.
Yeah, and that's where it starts. You know, you make the connection and then you move on from there. But if you don't have connection in the beginning, you know, you're going to have trouble. And a lady said this to me actually just yesterday. She said, you know, my horse is 20, and she said, for the first time, I felt connection with him.
On that note, I'm afraid we got the 1 minute from Gigi, and that means giddy up. One more quick mention, the Piranha template we put up for you earlier about your foals. We want your comments. That is from our exclusive fly spray company, and we love working with them, and that is a great question. When do you first handle your foals, and what do you do with them? Please comment below or message us, or you can certainly comment on Linda's page as well, or message her at Happy Horse, Happy Life. I want to thank you, Linda, so much. 3 amazing segments with an amazing horsewoman. We're always so blessed to have her, and for her to be our first guest in our new studio. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
We love Linda Pirelli. Happy Horse, Happy Life. We'll be right back on the Horse Talk Show.
I'm Linda Parelli, and I want to welcome you to Happy Horse, Happy Life. Come join us.
Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Palm Chevrolet, and our broadcast and television sponsor, Larson Hay, and also to our supporting sponsors, EquiSafe, Nirvana Medical Spa, Showcase Properties of Central Florida, the Equine Performance and Innovative Center, and Summit Joint Performance. Nirvana, Ocala's premier medical spa, is leading the way in great skin with all the newest in treatment options, offering prejuvenation for younger clients and rejuvenation for all ages. Nirvana knows you want to look your very best, but we've all seen people with the telltale signs of too much work. We want you to look like you, just better, brighter and younger, with all the newest and best in technology and all in the most beautiful surroundings. Like Nirvana Medical Spa on Facebook and find them on the web at nirvanamedicalspa.com. Become a better, brighter and younger you.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and services hassle-free and easier than ever, with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy. Find new roads.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Welcome to the Horse Talk Show. This is Gigi Rosato. I'm actually the director of the show. I'm sitting here for Louisa Barton. Hi, Louisa. And I am with Elizabeth Pizzonia Merri Krehl. We're here at Tamarian Farms, where they just got back. I remember correctly that you guys used to be here, then you guys moved away, but now you're coming back home, correct?
We did. We moved away. I sold the farm to Jim and Tammy, who own the Tamarian Farms now. Okay. And they've been here for about 18 months, and just picked up the phone and said, hey, how's everything going? And they said, basically, we'd love to have you back and have the program here. And so we went ahead and moved the program here at the end of March, 1st of April.
Oh, so it hasn't been that long.
It hasn't been, but it's like home to me. So it's been really easy, a great transition, and Jim and Tammy are great people to work with, and have made it super welcoming for me and my program. So.
Oh, that's great. Now, speaking of program, what does it entail? Like, what is it all about? Because I hear a lot of kids come through
We
here.
do. We have a lot of kids. So we have the Ocala Equestrian Academy is here, okay. And that is a full-service lesson program. So we have 10 to 15 lesson horses in the program. Okay. We do about 150 lessons a week.
Wow.
And that's beginner to advanced. So you could not know how to ride at all and come see us, or you could already know how to ride and maybe work on some skill sets. So we really try to keep it open for everybody to be able to come and experience riding horses, being around them. We have a lot of volunteer programs as well.
Oh, okay.
And then on the flip side of it, I also have my training program. So we have Arabians and half Arabian show horses. So those horses are training here as well. So it's a full service. Busy.
I
Absolutely.
mean, 150 lessons plus the training horses. I mean, where do you find the time for all this?
Luckily, I have Mary here with me, and we've brought her on, and she's been a great asset to my program and being able to develop it and develop the riders. Our focus has been, if you don't want to show, that's okay, but we really want you to be a good horseman. And I feel like that's really important to our program. Some of the kids and some of the adults want to show, and that's great, but just being able to be around the horses and experience that has been very important to us.
Wow, that's fantastic. I mean, it sounds like you guys are one hell of a dynamic duo here. So you take on one thing, she takes on the other, and you guys power through the day, huh?
Absolutely.
So one thing I've been hearing a lot too about one of these famous horses, although he doesn't have his head out because I hear he likes to be in the barn all the time, it's Stewie.
Stewie is one of our Arabian ambassadors, and I believe he's an Ocala envoy ambassador, and that's probably him. And we love for people to experience the Arabian horse. I think it's really important to grow that bond. Those horses are really important to me in my program. And like him, that's Broadway. He's owned by a very special little girl named Alana Hasman, and they live in Oxford. But Stewie goes downtown. He does a lot of trips where people are able to meet and greet with him up close. We think it's really important that people are able to get really up close with the horses and understand their attitudes and how they work. So Stewie does a lot of stuff downtown, and he's important. He's a good guy.
So he's the ambassador then?
He is, yes. He is. And I think Juvia, she does a lot with him. He goes down to Bank Street. He's downtown for the market of Marion.
Yes.
Or I believe that's correct. And the theater, and he's basically the brown horse walking around downtown. That's him.
So everybody will know. So if you see a brown horse or brown Arabian walking around, that's Stewie.
That's Stewie.
So now, being that you guys are here locally here in Ocala, do you stay local with what you do, or do you actually travel and all that stuff?
So our training side, we do a lot of local shows here and support the local community for shows and clinics. As far as our show horses, they go all over. February we were in Scottsdale, Arizona for a big horse show there. We're actually fortunate enough, we're getting ready in May, the first week of May, to show at WEC for our regional show, Arabian show. So that's going to be exciting to be there. That show is usually held in Perry, so it's exciting now that it's right here in our backyard. So.
And literally a hop, skipping away.
Yeah, we go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then we go to Oklahoma City for our youth nationals, and then we go to Lexington, Kentucky. So we do travel a little bit.
Wow, a lot of miles in those things.
It is a lot of miles. It is
because it's like 12 hours from what I understand drive from here to Kentucky.
It is.
So,
it's a drive.
And then through the mountains on top of that with, the horse, I want to say lorries. I like that word instead of horse trailers, horse lorries.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's nice. I like that.
That's a British thing that I'm picking up from Louisa.
Yeah.
So. Hang out enough with a British person, you pick up a few British terms.
Absolutely.
Now, with the kids that you do, is there anything specific with the kids? Is there a specific age group that you like to keep? Because I know some trainers like, little ones or teenagers and stuff like that, but do you have a large age group? Or
we do. They're 3 to 73. Yeah, we have no age limits at all. Obviously, at 3, they're pretty much able to kind of get around, and they're starting. We have a great program called Little Stirrups, and that gets them kind of going at a young age, and they're with a private instructor at that point, but kind of build their balance and their stamina too to get them riding. And then we have a lot of adults that come to us that are started late in life, and we support that. So
I started late in life. So Mary, what exactly do you do here? What do you help with?
I am the main instructor for the Ocala Equestrian Academy. So my job is to come in and teach lessons. We are so busy that is pretty much all I have time for. I assist Liz with whatever else she might need, but for the most part, I'm in that arena teaching lessons from the time I arrive in the morning until we close up shop at night. So we are busy enough that she needed someone here full time doing just that, and so that is what I do. It's an astounding program. There are not really any other programs I've ever heard of that can keep a riding instructor busy for 8 and 9 hours a day.
Oh, wow.
So
that is a long day. Probably lots of coffee too.
Yes.
She didn't know what she signed up for.
No, so. I wasn't really aware of what I was getting myself into.
I told her we were busy, but
she didn't say warp speed. She just said busy.
Like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, we're going to be busy, but nope. No, that's not exactly it.
No.
So, one of the things that we have big personalities here behind us.
Yeah.
So, besides Stewie, what are the kind of horses you have, age range, and their personalities? What are they like?
In the show horse program, it's all different ages and all different styles of horses. In the riding program, I really try to focus using the Arabian horse and half Arabian horse because that's the breed that I grew up with. Sometimes it doesn't always work like that. We do have a few quarter horses in our program, and they are lovely. So I am not super breed specific. For the riding program, I just want the kids to be safe and learn. The great thing about having both programs here is that when the kids see me riding one of the show horses, that's what they want. They eventually maybe that's what they want to end up doing. So it works out well. Arabians are very near and dear to my heart. So I really try to promote that as much as I possibly can because I think it's very important, but I also want them to be safe and have an enjoyable experience too. And when they go home and they tell their family that, I rode an Arabian today, it's a really wonderful thing. So that's what we encourage.
Our camera lady here, Ken.
Because this one here. Oh yeah, they're doing great.
They're putting on some serious.
Yeah, I came with a comedy act, full comedy act.
See that? This is what you get here at Tamarian Farms with Elizabeth.
Absolutely.
You are out of control.
The fun part is that both of these horses are owned by the same family, same girl. And so they both have great personalities. A young girl, she's 10 years old, and those are her horse, her and her mother. So super fun. But they are an act together.
Oh my goodness, this is so fantastic. I just absolutely love these guys.
Well,
already.
And this is one of the things that's appealing about Arabians is they cannot handle not being the center of attention. So they do whatever is necessary to gain that. They're like, Why is she out there talking to these people? We are the stars.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Where's my treat? Like, where's my treat?
There, you see us here.
Well, unfortunately, we just came to the end of our first segment here, but we'll be right back. Thank you for watching the Horse Talk Show.
Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Palm Chevrolet, and our broadcast and television sponsor, Larson Hay, and also to our supporting sponsors, EquiSafe, Nirvana Medical Spa, Showcase Properties of Central Florida, the Equine Performance and Innovative Center, and Summit Joint Performance. World-class equine rehab promoting faster recovery is available at the Equine Performance Center Ocala. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy, an underwater treadmill, a saltwater spa, an aquapacer, MagnaWave, a vibration plate, swimming pool, massage and laser therapies. With post-surgical care, memberships, packages and BOGOs, EPC delivers a rejuvenated horse through proven and innovative rehab. Like Equine Performance Center now on Facebook and find them on the web at epcrehab.com.
This show was brought to you in part by TT Distributors, dedicated to bringing their customers the largest selection of quality horse supplements, products, and farrier supplies in Florida at affordable prices. Also online at ttdistributors.com.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show. I'm Gigi Rosado, the director of the show. I'm standing here for Louisa Barton. Hi, Louisa. I'm here at Tamarian Farms with Elizabeth Pizzonia and Merri Krehl. Now, if I'm laughing so much because between takes, we just had one hell of a blooper. Hopefully, we won't share that with you, though. Not for everybody's eyes. So, we're back here. We're going to be talking about the kids. Now, I know you have a lot of kids, but you also say you take on everybody. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so in the Ocala Equestrian Academy, we like to open our doors to anyone and everyone who's interested in learning to ride and being safe around horses and safe on the back of a horse. We have a lot of adult riders. We have a lot of bucket listers, so to speak, people who have always wanted to ride and have never wanted to take the time to do it, who maybe are retired and have the time now. We also have our, what I refer to as our baby brigade, which is our little ones that are 3, 4, 5, and 6 years old. We have an amazing lesson horse, actually 2 amazing lesson horses that accommodate just those tiny riders. But we have horses in every shape, size, and configuration to suit everybody's ability. We have, you know, very skilled horses that have to have a skilled rider. We have very quiet and gentle horses that can really take anyone and teach them the ropes and show them the way to be safe on the back of a horse.
So with that said, it sounds like you don't use the same horse for, you know, your lessons as far as per person. You evaluate their level and then you pick the right horse, right?
Yes, you have it exactly correct. We evaluate the rider based on their experience levels, and then we match the horse to them, and then we adjust the horses as we go through the program so that the rider is challenged and can learn how to handle almost any situation with any type of horse, so that when they leave us or we don't want them to ever leave us, but if they go ride somewhere else with someone else, say on a vacation or at someone's home, they're safe and confident that they know how to do the things that need to be done to enjoy a horseback riding experience.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Now, how far can you take the kids here? I mean, do they pretty much, you know, like you
From
said,
day one to the national championships. So they can start here for their very first time to sit down on a horse. And then they can go on with Liz and go all the way to the youth nationals, to the open nationals. Anywhere they want to aim their sights, we can direct them to that. We have a couple that just recently bought property in Marion County. They are here with us. We are giving them horsemanship skills because they eventually want to be horse owners. So they are in the academy program right now, learning every step that it takes to be a good and knowledgeable horse owner.
Oh, so that's actually a little, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Slightly, not exactly taking, you know, lessons as far as, you know, wanting to go ride, but basic equestrian knowledge.
Yes.
You know, how to take care of a horse, you know, what to look for, you know, kinds of stuff like that. So
they get a lot of out besides just coming here and riding and going up to the next level, like where they can go. That's really great.
We want them to leave here as good horsemen and horsewomen. So they come in, they have their lesson, but they're also able to get the fundamental skills that they need to be able to know how to take care of a horse properly. Whether or not they're going to keep it at home, keep it with us, or maybe it's just something that they wanted to learn at some point in their life. But we really want to make sure that they understand it, because it really and truly, they're not just like a soccer ball you can put in a closet.
Yeah.
It's a full circle for them, and taking care of them and keeping them healthy, as well as learning how to ride them.
Wow. So full package. The full package here.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
can support people in any way they want to start. They can come and just have lessons and go home and only learn the riding skills, or if they want to dive into it, we can lease them a horse so that they can dip their toe in the water to horse ownership to see what it feels like to be responsible for a horse before actually taking that entire commitment on. And Liz provides just probably the best, most well-rounded service I've seen, and I'm third generation. So she's providing something that's really not done most places. Some people do one part, some people do another part, but Liz has the full circle here of everything that someone could want to do with a horse or to learn about horses, and get hands-on, be able to be with them and touch them and learn to ride them and handle them and all those things. So it's a unique opportunity for people to come here.
Yeah, because I usually don't hear about, that side of it. Because a lot of the places that I've been to, they do focus on, on a little niche, which is totally fine.
Absolutely.
That's what you want to do. That's what you want to teach people. Absolutely perfect. Do you, but again, like I said, it's just a specific niche, and you guys seem to, look at every single aspect, not just somebody coming here, get on a horse, spend an hour or whatever long, and they go home.
And I both want people to have fun.
Yeah,
and enjoy what they're doing. Yes, learning is important. Yes, safety is a number one priority for us here. But enjoying, there's no pressure. There's no pushing of anyone. Wherever you are, it's your journey. We take you on your journey, not our journey. It's your journey. However you need to approach it is how we approach it for you and with you. It's a partnership between the horses and ourselves and the people who come to us. We want everyone to be involved.
Oh, that's
have a say.
great.
But we also have a lot of fun.
We do.
Liz does great fun events, and we offer a summer camp. It's a day program. It starts in the morning and goes until the afternoon, and the kids are here with us. There is an age limit, 6 years old and up is our age limit.
6 and up, it's 5 days a week. It runs from 9 until 3. The dates are on our Facebook page and website, but it fills up. It's great. The kids have a great time. They're able to ride the horses. We actually do it. They ride twice a day.
Oh, okay.
And then you do great horse activities and crafts, but everything geared towards the horses. So they're able to learn the horsemanship, the safety part, have fun, and then have some fun with friends as well.
So you hear that, guys? Summer camp. Check out their Facebook page. It sounds like they're filling up.
We always do. It's a great event.
You want to make sure you reserve that spot for your little one so they can have fun this summer and get them out the house.
Everybody's ready to get out of the house for sure.
We had a tough year last year. It's
Absolutely
not an easy start to this year, so let's get out there, get on your horse, have some fun.
Absolutely.
That should be 2021's motto.
Yes.
So earlier you were talking about the Arabian breed. That is your heart breed. Breed. So
it is.
Besides what you told us earlier, what is it about the Arabian that makes them such a good pick for you? Besides the fact that you grew up with them.
Well, I grew up with them because they were very their attitudes and the way that they are with people, their personalities, is unlike any other breed. And I love all breeds of horses. The Arabian, though, is very personable. These are horses that in the Bedouin days slept in tents, with their owners in the desert. So, these horses have always been that way. They're very personable. They're great with the kids. We specialize in the performance horses of that part of the Arabian. But for me, I've just never found another breed that is as smart as they are, which does make them a little trickier to train. because they are very smart.
Yeah, a little too smart for their own good.
Sometimes they are. But the bond that they share with these kids and these adults, I just can't replace that with anything. And I've watched these horses help change riders and change young people that I wouldn't want it any other way. So for me, the Arabian is very special. And Mary as well, she grew up as well with a number of different breeds of horses. But I think for both of us, the Arabian is...
Heart horse.
Yeah,
Your heart horse.
Yeah, heart horse, yep.
Well, guys, it seems we reached the end of our segment here. But remember, go to Facebook, look up Tamarian... Nope, not Tamarian.
Tamarian Farms.
Tamarian Farms.
It's okay. And Ocala Equestrian Academy. You got it.
And check out their summer program. Sign up before it fills up. Get your little ones out there. And we look forward to seeing you guys here. Thank you for watching the Horse Talk Show.